Folks, welcome to startbuilding.me. Training is mandatory, but it can be very quick and low in intensity. That's why I'm here. Like and subscribe, whatever platform you're on. 15-minute training session, sometimes light to 30 minutes, give or take, but you don't train the whole time. You just do whatever you've got, and we're trying to improve on your performance versus yesterday. So every day we're trying to see if we can get incremental gains, to see if we're on an upwards trajectory with the metrics that we're collecting, i.e. how many of the exercises you can do. So it's really simple, folks. It's really straightforward. I'm really trying to reprogram your mind into enjoying exercise and seeing it as something that's essential instead of just something that, you know, athletes do, folks, because that's not the case. Our brain itself requires, it has been studied countless times by many different programs and scientists, 35 minutes of intermediate exercise a day. That is your heart rate being between 120 and 140 BPM. So my heart rate at the moment is about 100 BPM because I've just had a lot of coffee today. I just walked the dogs. And because I'm an antisocial hermit, every time my door gets knocked on for trick-or-treaters, I have heart palpitations because, you know, I don't like people coming over to my house. So that's what's going down, folks. I've got the box. Dave's patented start boxing me. No, well, that's not quite true because it's just, you know, the box. So basically the reason I've got a box is because most people, if they don't know how to squat, most people know how to sit down, right? And that's what you have to do. You have to sit down on something like the edge of your bed and stand back up. And now, folks, this is exercise, believe it or not. This is all it takes to do exercise. You're pumping the biggest muscles that you have in your body, your quadriceps, your hamstrings, your glutes and your lower back, a little bit of stabilization muscles in there from everything. This is an exercise. You're standing up and sitting down. So if you're not comfortable with the squat in its sort of pure form as we're seeing now, just pick something that you can sit down on, like this box, a stool, a chair, the corner of your bed, wherever you are now. You might be able to find something to sit down on and then just stand back up. And you don't have to keep on doing it repeatedly. Like I said, the number of the repetitions, number of the sets, all this stuff is arbitrary, right? Like, it's meaningless. Like, what? Somebody's like, I can do 20 push-ups. It's like, who cares? That's you. Are you an athlete? How heavy are you? How tall are you? How short are you? Have you got any disabilities? Like, it's all relative, right? So that's why, you know, you just have to do what, you have to find out, you have to benchmark what you're capable of, and that's what you're trying to compete with every day. Nobody else. It's like today. I took last night off, had too much sun, and this nice bright light detracts how brown I'm getting, which is nuts. So I walked into my machinist to pick up my crankcase, engine block, and he's like, Dave, he saw the golf club. He's like, you've been playing a lot of golf. I'm like, what makes you say that, Ian? He's like, oh, you're just really brown. I'm like, oh yeah, I can't really avoid the sun. So sun stroked out a little bit, so as a result, I did 0 squats yesterday. So I've done more than yesterday. Pat on the back. That's what you got to get into the habit of. You got to get into the habit of equaling or bettering the performance that you did yesterday. So it can just be 1, 2, maybe, you know, the preacher method, or you can put your arms out as a counterbalance. 3, 4, 5, and take a load off. Like, that's all I'm trying to get across, is that people do nothing, right? So anything is better than nothing. And that's solid logic, folks, especially in the exercise world, because you don't have to go for broke every day. And certainly it's better to do a little bit every day than it is to just go hard twice a week. Like, what is that even trying to simulate in the real world? When do you do something twice a week? Like, okay, maybe a mammoth hunt. You're successful in the first one, and by chance you had another mammoth that you could get, you know, a few days later. It doesn't really work that way, folks. We usually do a little bit of something every day. That's why we work every day. That's why we sleep every day. So we eat and drink every day. Now, I don't even know why I'm puffing and panting. I got my CT angiogram back, 0 calcium score, absolutely nothing wrong with my blood vessels in my heart. But obviously, as we all know, there's a screw loose up here, folks, so I think that has something to do with it. Anyway, good to know that I'm not about to have a cardiac arrest, so let's do some squats and then go take a load off. I know I'm boiling here. I didn't switch on the air conditioner soon enough, so it's pretty warm in here. So I'm using the box, touch your butt and back up. Try not to sit on it, just bang, touch your butt and back up. Bang, touch your butt and back up. And that's exactly what a box squat is. You're using it as a depth gauge. So how far do I need to travel down until my butt touches that platform, and then I'm going back up. It's a good gauge so you don't go too deep. The deeper you go, the more you start loading up your knees, start doing damage there, folks. So you don't want to do that either. You just want to go down, touch, and back up. Bang, 2, 3, 4, 5, and shake it out. You don't have to do 5, just do 1 at a time. 1 is perfectly fine. 1, and then shake it off. Breathe. You're just trying to tell your brain, this is what I'm trying to do. And the more you do it over time, the more you'll coordinate all the muscles in together. And that's what makes the exercise easier. It's not your muscles getting conditioned as much as it is your muscles getting coordinated, right? You don't need a hell of a lot of muscle mass to do that, folks. Do you know why? Because babies can do it, right? 2-year-olds can do that. And they could do it a few times. You see, when they're really getting into it, little kids, they've got the ability to coordinate that muscle mass to do a deep squat. They can even sit in a deep squat. That's why I'm putting it to you, folks, that this is something that everyone can do, people aside from people with disabilities. And I have trained with people with disabilities before, and if they come here, they've got bands, therabands. There are different options that we can explore and see how we can help some people out to try and get a little bit of exercise in their day. Take breaks, breathe until we get a carbon credit score, folks. Breathing is free still, like I said, and I am not joking. It will not be long until they charge us for it. Until then, breathing is a big part of exercise, folks. Keep breathing in, out. The rhythm. 1 and 0, duality. And relax. It should be enjoyable. Take your time. If you're feeling like something's tight, something hurts even, you're done. Take the day off. If it still hurts tomorrow, take the day off. If the next day it hurts, take the day off, folks. You don't, no pain, no gain. All that stuff that they used to shout at people in spandex at the gyms in the 80s is all a load of BS, right? You can get perfect gains from everything you do without having to absolutely obliterate yourself. All you are trying to do is get the blood pumping through your body a little bit, and that is it, folks. That is all that exercise is. Slap that "I'm doing it for the looks" mentality out of your head. It's a terrible metric to aspire to, because looks are subjective, right? And what happens with body dysmorphia, with men wanting to get really big and women wanting to get really lean, or men wanting to get really lean and women to get really muscly, is that it will never be enough. You're your own worst critic. So if you have this view of some perfect physique that you want to have, like, you're never going to get it. You speak to people like Arnold Schwarzenegger and they're just like, oh, that was just this tiny bit that was off on that wrist or something. Like, there's always going to be something that is not enough, folks. So that's why you've just got to do something that does work, which is usually just, like I said, just have a calendar, mark off which days you train, and try and get a streak. Now, I can remember Sam Harris recently saying streaks are not so good for meditation, but I think it's a good habit to get into a streak of exercise. It's just like get to the point where, every morning I drink tea, a flawless streak. I have to be, there's no exception. If I'm camping in hospital, wherever I am, I'll always have a cup of tea. That's how you want to see this, folks, and that's why I come here, sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes 10, sometimes 30, just to show you what I do, even for the bare minimum. So obviously I walk a lot, I train a lot, I've jogged today, I've done various exercises outside, done my cold plunge in my 1 degree Celsius water. But it's always good to use the expression, as one of the people that trains here said, is to grease the groove, right? So there's that motion that you need to really, really drill into your body, as in, I needed to be able to propel myself up and down against gravity with my own body weight. Look, even that's getting me puffed. 110 BPM from just doing that. So not quite within range. But enough to get your exercise going, enough to get your heart rate up. So again, take a breather, let everything sink back down. Now, I'm going back to the doctor. I'm not satisfied with the fact that I've got a perfect CT angiogram. I want to get what's called a D-dimer test to see if there's any alternative blood clots that might be impairing my heart's function, as well as advice given to me today by another doctor. So what I've learned, folks, after nearly 20 years in healthcare, is that modern doctors aren't better than ancient doctors. We've just got way better diagnostics tools, way better point of care services than they used to. So if you want to find out if something's wrong with you, mate, doctors, that's why they say get a second opinion, right? Doctors make mistakes. Doctors are humans. Doctors kill, I think it's the third biggest killer in Australia of adults are doctors, right? Medication mismanagement. Now, if my cousin ever watches this, don't freak out. It doesn't matter. People make mistakes, but that's my whole point. Machines don't. So if you're going to get some diagnostics, it's worth, you get what you pay for. CT angiogram was 630 Australian dollars, showed up nothing. That sort of stings a little bit, but hey, I got $800 worth of machining work done on a crankcase today to find out that it's not usable. So I put it to you that the CT angiogram was better value than now having a massive scrap of magnesium alloy in my garage when I could have just tossed it into landfill. Anyway, I'm going to go for, make it worthwhile, let's do 20 squats, and then we'll do some push-ups and then call it a night. So, sitting back into your heels, weight going to the outside of your feet as to not roll in your knees like that. The weight goes to the outside so your knees stay straight. Like a downhill skier, you see them like that, they're pushing the weight to the outside. Else I'd be doing that and buckling and there'd be blood on the ice or snow or whatever. So, sitting back into your heels, weight to the outside of your feet, breathe in, and breathe out on the way up. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Gets those knees cranking over, feeling good. Heart rate's back up, approaching 115 BPM. Not quite into range, but good enough for my end of day session. Well, I was watching Arsenal kick ass, which made up for my bet of Chelsea getting absolutely annihilated, which was disgusting. But my main team, Arsenal, in the Premier League, absolutely smashed it today. And I had a bet going on Man United that I haven't seen the match conclude yet, but I did see a cracking first goal from them. So things looking at the up and up. And then just reading more about machine building. It's usually my thing at the moment. And probably Dr. Googling myself to try and convince myself that I've got some sort of diagnosis that I don't. I feel fine. It's just, I got high standards, folks. What can I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And let's switch downstairs. Patented floor cam. I'll try and speak to the floor cam as always, because I always forget. What is a push-up? A push-up is you pushing yourself up off the ground off gravity. People will say, oh, it's not a real push-up if you're doing it off your knees like this. Yes, it is, folks. It's definitely a push-up. I'm pushing myself up, therefore it's a push-up, right? Just say you're running on the battlefield in war and you have to get up. How do you get up, you know? Would you say, oh, I'm not gonna get up unless I do a strict push-up? Like, it's whatever works, right? So you might use one leg to get up, or you might roll over and get up. Like, there are various methods that you could use to get up. So whatever works for you, do them off your knees, do them strictly like this. As I say, look up, arms close beside you, because you're using your tricep more than your shoulders. The wider you go out like that, the more you load up your shoulders, the more damage you're gonna do. Put it to you folks that you don't want to damage your shoulders. And take a load off and breathe. Rip something off my finger and now I'm bleeding everywhere. Fantastic. I'll have to clean out my own floor. Breathe, and then I'll do a few more. And you could do 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. And take a load off, or you could do 3. 1, 2, 3. You could do the 3 off your knees. 1, 2, 3. And take a break. Whatever you've got, folks, not what I've got. That's why it's not a spin class where, hey, another 60 seconds, folks, let's go. Like, I'm not here to train you like that. I'm here to get you in to understand what exercise actually is. Excuse me. I drank. I saw the time and I drank like 1 million liters of water before coming here, so I'm burping it all back up now. So apologies for that. Very poor performance here tonight, but nonetheless, I had to get out, crank it out. 17 minutes, another 3 minutes on the clock, folks. Let's see what we can get out. So spread your fingers, like I always say. Gives you a more stable platform. Look up and tense your butt. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 18 minutes, 2 more minutes, and I reckon I can get another 20 out. So maybe 30 or 40 or which is a good amount of push-ups to do. I mean, when you're ever going to push yourself up off the ground 40 times, and like maybe if you're doing wrestling or jiu-jitsu, but for nothing else, right? So it's not a bad workout. If you just do 15, 20 minutes, a few squats, a few push-ups off your knees, like I said, it doesn't matter. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. It's still exercise, folks. It's still a push-up. And let the haters say whatever they want, because we usually find the people who are critics are people who don't do anything. So let people be critical. In the end, you'll get the results and they won't. And like I said, you're competing against yourself and your performance yesterday. So who cares what they say? Another minute on the clock. Let's see how many I can get out. Ah, yuck, what a mess. Sweating all over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Have a break. Have a breathe. I'm sweating, folks. Wow, this is what exercise is supposed to do. I'm sweating. I need to take a shower. I should jump in the esky, but I'm not. I had a good one today, so that'll do. 35 seconds left on the clock. I'll get another 10, and then I'm going to go and watch football, folks. Hopefully Man United win the rest of that game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. That's it, folks. That's a good workout. Get back to gaming, get back to buying girls bubble bath water, whatever it is that you sick millennials and Generation Z people do. Hopefully your mum and dads are watching too. Something they can benefit from here. Until